if you can somehow hang this around Trump or his administration or a Republican, suddenly Epstein is the worst guy on planet Earth. He was fine. Now, this whole lenient sentence where he got to go home every day and just had to spend the night in some halfway house, that was fine for the left back then. So that's what bothers me about this story. Look into that as well. But do me a favor. Let's start with Barry, if you don't mind.
Okay. This is the latest from AccuWeather. Tropical storm Barry strengthened Friday as it crawled west-northwest over the Gulf of Mexico with sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. Government officials and residents brace for impact of the first tropical storm that will make landfall in the U.S. this year. Tropical storm force winds began lashing parts of the Louisiana coast early Friday morning, the National Weather Service said. Tropical storm conditions will spread inland over Louisiana and Mississippi Friday night. Additional strengthening of Barry is forecast prior to landfall Saturday morning when maximum sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or greater are detected, and the storm will be classified as a hurricane. AccuWeather meteorologists believe Barry will make landfall as a hurricane along the central Louisiana coast. On Thursday afternoon, the National Hurricane Center issued a hurricane warning for a large portion of the Louisiana coast from Intracoastal City to Grand Isle. In New Orleans, neither mandatory nor voluntary evacuations have been ordered as the city's mayor, Latoya Cantrell, advised residents to shelter in place. Cantrell said the city only enacts evacuations for hurricanes of Category 3 force or higher, according to the Saffir-Simpson scale, and therefore sheltering in place is our strategy, the mayor told reporters at a news conference Thursday. If Barry maintains the track it's currently on, the storm could make landfall on Marsh Island, Louisiana, in Vermilion Bay, about 100 miles west of New Orleans. And the key to whether Barry becomes a hurricane before landfall or not will depend on the amount of time it's able to spend over the warm water of the Gulf of Mexico. However, the main threat from Barry will not be whether or not it's a hurricane at landfall, but rather how much rain is unleashed. Rainfall of 2 to 4 inches per hour can occur with Barry as it begins to move on shore. Rainfall totals will average 10 to 18 inches with an AccuWeather local storm max of 24 inches possible in some places.
So brace for it. Brace yourself. These things happen. The hope is that nobody will be hurt. Certainly nobody will be killed. If it's suggested that you evacuate, you don't have to. Generally speaking, they can't make you. But I'll never forget the first responders. There was a police chief somewhere, I can't remember, somewhere in Florida, I think. Look, if you decide to stay, we're not going to come and try to save you. So do me a favor, take a Sharpie and write your Social Security number on your arm so we can identify you later. And I think that's pretty effective. So what you do is, you make a decision. Either I can have a hurricane party and be an idiot, or I can get the hell out of harm's way. As of right now, as you say, they're not asking anybody to evacuate.
Right.
They're not suggesting anybody to evacuate. But I'll always remember, after Hurricane Rita, and seeing, the cars lined up on, what was it, I-45? I think it was on 45, going into and out of Houston. It might have been I-10, but I think it was 45. Either way, it was all the highways where people